Welcome, it's Al. Thank you for watching today's video. Okay, so long story short, I have two decks of cards that I'm going to be comparing today. My very first deck of cards I ever bought, the Universal Weight Tarot deck, and the very latest deck of cards I bought, the Universal Weight Tarot deck. Now, why would I be comparing the same deck? Well, so this very first deck of cards that I bought these cards in 1998. Very first deck of cards I ever bought for myself. And I don't know if you can tell, but you can see they're very seasoned, meaning they're dirty. They're very pliable, meaning I've used these puppies to the nth. And you can see, I mean, honestly, look at it. I mean, it's worn, it's loved. I've cared about this deck so much. And even I still have the little white booklet that is, it's yellowed and it's, oh look, hi Pamela. So it's yellowed and it's like really old and feels very plasticky. And it felt like the cards were getting tougher to shuffle. I feel like this deck of cards is a boy. I feel like he was getting tired. Not that the meanings weren't still clear, not that I wasn't able to give good readings, the two of us together, creating wonderful readings for people, but it just seemed like the card deck itself just felt like, you know, I want to wind down now, and maybe you could get a backup so I don't have to constantly be in use. Because this Rider Waite, or this Universal Weight deck card deck is very loved, very used. It's my go-to deck of cards. And so lately it's been feeling very tough to shuffle. So I thought, okay, well, obviously he's telling me something. He's telling me that he's getting tired. He's telling me that he wants me to move on to other decks that could be more of the staple, the go-to, okay? But he did say that he was going to stick around and that I should, like, hang on to him. So, I mean, like I said, look, it's a very, very loved deck of cards. I've used these cards forever, and the artwork is still very vibrant and beautiful. And like I said, the little white book that comes with, it's yellowed. It's weathered. I don't read with this puppy, but it's part of the deck. It's part of the kit. I keep it together. And of course, my bag, the very first tarot bag I ever bought for this deck of cards, it's still purple, but it's yellowed with time. It's weathered. It's even starting to show some wear. So I thought, okay, I better put this puppy up. This is the scarf I keep it in. Just a plain old scarf. Nothing special, nothing fantastic, nothing amazing. It's just a plain old piece of cloth that I lovingly wrap my cards in. So I thought, well, what am I going to do for a replacement? What am I going to do for a staple deck of cards? I know, replace it with the same thing, right? No. Anyway, I know that sounds so silly. So I ordered myself a brand new Universal Weight Tarot deck, created, or actually I should say published by US Game Systems Inc. And I love US Game Systems Inc. They have published and produced a great many of my favorite tarot decks. Those are, and quite a few of them are in regular rotation as far as my use is concerned, and doing readings with them for people. And I was excited Not that I'm not excited to have a brand new deck of cards. For you card readers out there, you know what it feels like to get a brand new deck of cards. You're geeked. You've been waiting for it. You're wanting it, and you just want to devour it. So I'm excited that I have a brand new deck of cards to use. But when I opened it, I kind of was caught off guard a little bit. I kind of don't know how I feel about this brand new deck of cards, and I'm going to share with you why. So my original deck of cards, you see, I mean, it's 20 plus years old. I bought it in 1998, early 1998, for a class that I was going to be starting. Very first deck of cards I ever bought, still holds up. It has wear, but it still holds up. The cards still feel strong. They still feel healthy. It just feels like the shuffling is getting a little bit tougher. So that's why a new deck of cards. And so I thought, well, I might as well replace it with its copy. Now, that deck of cards was produced in or created in 1991. I bought it in 1998. This deck of cards was created in 2004. That's the last printing, or at least according to the packaging that I have for this deck of cards. 2004 was the last time this deck of cards was produced. I don't know if this one is from that time frame, but it makes sense, and I'm going to tell you why. So at first, I look at the little white book that comes with every deck of cards. Every deck of cards gets a little white book, if not like a big companion book. I don't use this thing in the first place anyway, but I do like to keep all of the packaging, other than the cellophane, intact and all together. So I have an entire kit, okay? Well, number one, this is very papery. It's very flimsy feeling. Now, I'm not trying to knock US Game Systems because I love their products. But the little white book, I could see it being a little bit more on the papery side, a little bit more delicate, a little bit more disposable. Makes sense. But my original has more of a waxy paper or waxy feel to it. It didn't feel papery when I bought it, and it doesn't feel papery now. So that's one difference. And I actually wanted to do a physical side-by-side comparison of the sizes, because at first I thought they were off, but they're not. They're not off. I do want to point out, look at the border. Now, mind you, of course, my deck of cards is old. But look at the border. The border of the new one seems a lot thicker than the border on the old one. This is the border on the old one, and you can see it's very loved. There's white flecks on the card from shuffling. But this one seems a little more of a thicker white border. At first, that threw me off, so I don't know if I don't know how I feel about that exactly, but it has given me a difference. And then the colors seem, this is the new one, this is the old one, and listen to that. This feels more papery. This feels papery. This feels a little more on the plasticky side. And I don't know how I feel about that. But the colors look the same. The colors are very vibrant, yet and still. This is my old deck. This is my new deck. And you can see the colors still stand up to a brand new deck of cards. But the feeling of the card feels weird to me. It feels very plastic. It doesn't feel very paperly at all. I don't know how I feel about that. It's going to take me time. The thickness, again, that could probably just purely be from the fact that this deck of cards has been very much handled, and this deck is still brand new. I've yet to actually crack it open. This is my first time actually handling this deck of cards. So the thickness of each deck is very different. But then again, it might be because of the use. It might be because of the shuffling. But like I said, this deck feels very papery, and this one feels rather plasticky. And again, that's not bad. I just don't know how I feel about it yet. The colors are very vibrant. And I also want to point out, and maybe it's just me, I'm tripping, I don't know, but the borders seem a little bit thicker on the image side, just like they are on the back side. See, those borders just feel a little bit thicker. That white border around the starry background feels a little bit thicker. Same thing with the imagery. So again, I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, it's a small detail, and the people that I read cards for aren't going to care. They're not going to notice, but it's just me. I notice. I kind of care, I guess. So I'm going to give these cards a shuffle because I have to put them in rotation. I have to use them. This is going to be my brand new go-to deck. And so I'm going to give them a shuffle. I want you guys to listen to what it sounds like, and we'll find out. They feel very brand new. That's so stupid to say, but it feels weird. They don't shuffle very well because they aren't. This is my third time shuffling, so they feel kind of weird. They feel kind of odd. I guess it's going to take me time to actually get used to this deck of cards. And like I said, I don't know how I feel about this brand new deck of cards, even though my old deck told me to buy a new one. So I guess I'm going to have to get used to these. So I guess that's just what I wanted to share with you guys today. The comparison between the two decks of cards that I have. I know. I'll do a reading for us. Not for you guys, but for me. I'm going to do a reading for me and this deck of cards. And I'm going to pull one card. And my question is, how are we going to get along? How is this new deck of cards going to get along with me? How are we going to work together? Are we compatible? I'm going to pull one deck of cards to answer all those questions. Okay, so I'm going to do one more shuffle, and then I'm going to cut in three, and then I'm going to pull the top card because that's my usual MO. That's what I tell my clients to do, so that's what I'm going to do. All right, I cut in three, put them back together in one space, and let's pull this card. My heart is beating so hard. I don't know why. I'm scared. So this card is going to represent how this new deck of cards and I will work together as this being my new go-to deck. Dun, dun, dun. I'm scared to look. Three of Cups. I love it. So this deck of cards is happy to have somebody love it. This deck of cards is wanting to be a part of a relationship that gets to express joy, to feel joy. I'm getting teary. I feel so stupid. So anyway, this Three of Cups is definitely telling me one of these cups is me, one of these cups is a deck of cards, and one of those cups is my client that we get to work with. So happiness, joy, this deck of cards is ready to be loved, and I have no doubts it will love me back and love the clients that we get to work with. Thank you guys for that's so silly. Thank you guys for watching this video. And thank you for being a part of this deck comparison. My very first universal weight tarot deck with my current universal weight tarot deck. It was fun to share this with you guys. Thank you so much. Have a good day. Happy Friday. Bye.